success in your endeavors. And that session, a very powerful one, I could not complete. So I'll quickly complete that. The number 3 and number 4 points as regards things that will make you achieve success in your endeavor will be the ability to spot opportunities that a lot of people are not seeing. You see, what makes one exceedingly successful in life is the fact that he has the capacity to see things others are not seeing. There are a lot of opportunities, despite how difficult things are in Nigeria. There are a lot of opportunities. And when I talk about things like that, I keep telling the story of Otuba Gaddafi. I said nobody would have thought that mobile toilets would be big business. But while others were not seeing the opportunity, Otuba Gaddafi was looking at the big business in mobile toilets. And that big business in mobile toilets make him a lot of buck. So your capacity to be able to see things others are not seeing. And that comes from your eye of introspection. You must be able to look for opportunities that others are not ready to look at. That's another very important one. Another thing that will make you successful is honesty and transparency. A lot of people are not transparent in their business. See, if people cannot trust you with 10,000 naira, they can't trust you with 10 million naira. See, if you check the money that has passed through your hands and what you did with it, you will know why you are not successful today. Some people, if you calculate how much you have spent on alcohol this year alone, and you are declaring for the boys, you will see that if you had put the money you spent on alcohol alone in fixed investments, it will give you rewards. It is not every time you celebrate. It is not every time you live the big life. It is not every time you have to declare for the boys. You see, the boys that are asking you to declare for them, the day you become a liability, they will be the first to leave you alone. And those are the facts I'm telling you today. The day you become a liability, they will be the first to walk away. So please be careful how you live your life. The day you become a liability, they will be the first to walk away. To call us up, 0907-651-1008. That's the number to call us up, 0907-651-1008. So the day you become a liability, they will be the ones to run away. So it is for you to be successful in life, it is not everything you must give out. There must be a lot that you will keep to yourself. There used to be a popular song I used to sing to people from 21 Week. It says, when money come your way, everybody come your way. When money come your way, everybody busybody. When Yahweh day for you, everybody Ben Johnson. Then go deny, then no know you again. So once you have problems, that's when you will know your true friends. And all those that you are declaring for, they will not be there for you. Be careful how you help. It's sheer stupidity to give out your money when you have no money. Always save for the raining day. My father, you always teach me a lesson. He said, Rufai, what is the raining day? The day the rain will fall and you'll not be able to go to the markets. So what are you keeping aside for the raining day? And I tell people, if you have the capacity, put over 20% of your earnings in investments, another 20% in rainy day funds, and another 20% in miscellaneous funds. You know why? Because with the way things are difficult, you might need to call up that money someday when it's a rainy day. I know the next question a lot of people ask me, Rufai, how do you save in this difficult economy? You might have to make sacrifices to save. You might have to make sacrifices to save. It is not everything you buy. It is not every new phone you buy. Because the truth is, if you buy every new phone, the next year that phone will go out of fashion. It is not every year you do an upgrade. If you do an upgrade every year, then that's an exercise in futility. At least if you do an upgrade every year, make your upgrade the next 3-4 years. There's some people that say that they can't use phone for more than a year or two. But if you also look at the money you are expending on those lifestyle, if you were going abroad 2-3 times a year, maybe you have to cut it to once a year. So the truth is, you need to look inwards. You need to look inwards. And the last but not the least is, live your life like you have nobody. Live your life like you have nobody. I always have it at the back of my mind that those that you think will help you in times of trouble are not going to be there for you. So if you live your life with the mentality that you have nobody, it makes you less disappointed because people will disappoint you. There is no how. The Yorubas have a saying, Babam Bayon Shoriaman for George and Len. Always account for the fact that people will disappoint you. Especially for the kind of job I do. I get disappointed every day by people and by friends. In fact, closest friends are the greatest disappointments. But how do I deal with all of these things? It's because I live my life like people will disappoint me. But you see, in also that mindset, also know that where your blessings will come from is people you less expect. So I've also come to realize that where your blessings will come from are going to be with the people you least expect. So be careful. Live your life without wide open. Be very conservative in your approach. Know that people will disappoint you. Learn to look at new opportunities. And most importantly, take care of your health. Take care of your health. Take care of your life. Do exercises. Eat healthy. Stop the things that are harmful to your health. Like I said, I will continue with the topic of vestiges of a country in decline. A country in decline, you will see their electoral process become a charade. How can you have elections where people are going to vote in their choice based on their plans and their perspective and their prospectus, and it has become a vote buying affair? Anambra election is a joke. Vote buying was the order of the day. In fact, even the governor had to come out to say that even if they spend 100,000 on vote buying, he will still win. It's to show that there's a decay, and vote buying has become the order of the day. So a nation where votes are bought, criminals will rule that nation. Because any thief anywhere can say, if it's to buy votes, I will buy votes and I will get into power. So a nation where votes can be easily bought, criminals will rule that nation. Look at it. EFCC said they arrested 3 people. Was it only 3 people that bought votes? No. In fact, the future of an average Nigerian president, Anambra, that voted yesterday, was directly proportional to money. I think they shared the gala and malt. Money, sausage, and malt. I don't want to call gala because gala has become a verb for sausage, so that I don't debrand. I don't want to say gala and vote buy. So money, sausage, and malt. So the truth has to be said. That's the kind of life we have lived. But even the governor that was complaining, he was also the one saying at a rally, although he has come out to clarify that people that do well, there will be certain rewards for them. So we cannot build a society where you have, during election day, vote buying is happening large scale, and you want the integrity of that election to be first. It will not be first, because it will be a contest of those that buy votes the highest. So, like I said before, INEC has started failing. Vote buying in the elections. In fact, some polling units, what happened in some polling units? Very shocking. There, there were some polling officers that were accosted that they didn't even have result sheets. So, is it to mean that the results were being cooked up somewhere else? Because how will you not have result sheets? Somebody is even saying here that they sent him a link to earn 25,000 in this election in Anambra. I've not verified that. You see, a country where there's vote buying, criminals will rule that country. Because see, criminals and drug cartel will just ask that how much will it be to buy the elections, and they will buy it easily. It is honesty and integrity that builds up a nation. Because see, I'm preaching all this message because it will be on record that I see all these things, because I know Nigeria is going to have a redemption someday. But these messages are going to be the pedestal on which that redemption is going to start. For you that also collected the money that they gave, and you are trying to think that you are sane and say, hey, let me collect the money and vote my choice, you are equally as complicit. Because anybody that gives you money takes their influence and puts an influence level in your heart. So they expect you to also do something in return. So that's the level of the society we live in. So Anambra elections, obviously, is a joke, with vote buying rampant, with a lot of shenanigans happening. The first test by INEC under this new chairman has shown that the cultural problems of INEC has not changed. We will see. Okay, EFC said they arrested people for vote buying. We'll see how many INEC will prosecute. Maybe tomorrow night they will start the advocacy for Special Offences Commission of INEC. Because when you say it this way, you say it that way, the INEC chairman will always run on that Special Offences Commission. But also, we heard the technology worked. Okay, at least Beavers worked in some areas. Collectively. I think to a large extent it worked. And they said upload was going on the IRF. Okay. But there was vote buying. And the shenanigans persist. So we need to be able to introspect. And these are vestiges of a nation that is failing. Because when the rain starts to beat all of us, it beats all of us hard. It beats all of us really hard. Let me also get the WhatsApp, second WhatsApp number. It beats all of us hard. And when it beats all of us hard, we all suffer it. We all have a hand in it. Polling units, elections, the people in charge don't have result sheets. So what did they come to record? So that's the joke we have built. 0818099199 is also the number if you want to get us on WhatsApp. And I've called the number before now. You can also reach us on that number. If you want to call us up, it's 0907 651 1008. 0907 651 1008. 0907 651 1008. Please, you can call us up via the phone lines on WhatsApp 0818-099-1991 and 0907 651 1008. That's the society we live in. Hello, how are you? Hello? Oh, we lost that. So, just to also inform you that we'll also be growing in leaps and bounds by the grace of God. We're planning something for our YouTube family, where we're going to have a specialized podcast system for them. Hello, how are you? Hello? Hello.
Hello, good morning. I can hear you.
Yeah. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm Emmanuel. Okay, I'm calling from Benin, Edo State.
Good to have you, Emmanuel.
Yeah, I'm calling from Edo State, Benin.
Go ahead, my brother. Talk to us.
Yeah. Mr. Rufai, first of all, I need to appreciate you for all you do for the country. Yes. I need to appreciate you for all you do for the country.
Bless you, my brother.
For the people like you.
Bless you.
Most of the time, it's quite unfortunate that looking at the generation we are today, our forefathers' generation failed us. And I think this current generation is also failing us at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Because most of the time when you look at it and ask yourself a personal question, what do you stand to gain upon all this? We keep on crying day by day. When is the change going to come? People are pushing for electoral reform. None of the governmental officials are saying anything about it. Most of the times when people are after their government, they will come again to complain to the public that things are not going normal. Just like when you look at the former president who ruled the country, you now ask yourself, what legacy did they left behind? You understand? So I think it's quite. I think it's time for the Nigerian youth to rise up and demand for electoral reform. Because there's not, to be honest, as I say with you, nothing will change without electoral reform.
Yes.
Do you understand? People, they will definitely find their way to sort out their things. And because when you look at it, people keep on traveling outside Nigeria. Is that going to solve the problem?
Yes.
How when our lineage is forgotten? Because most of the time we just keep on talking and looking at them, you will not even see that at the end of the whole thing, they will bring back their children to come to Nigeria and take over from where they stop.
Mm-hmm. But that's what they're already doing. That's what they're already doing. And that's why, my brother, we just need to sensitize the people even more. And that's what we're doing here, to sensitize them, to let them know that there are consequences if they collect money to vote for people, and they should speak up, even if the person is for their tribe or their religion. But I appreciate you.
All right.
I appreciate you. We're never going to stop speaking. Yeah. 0907-651. Okay, we got calls coming in. Hello, how are you? Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Morning, what's your name? Where you going? Where are we calling from?
My name is Moses, calling you from Mobile.
Morning, great to have you. Go ahead.
I had a brother that covered that election and Anambra yesterday. So the report on the videos he sent to me was not encouraging at all. There was a lot of it was a joke actually.
Yes, that's what
it was a joke. Like is it what we are going to see 2027?
Oh yes. Most likely.
There is a problem. There is a problem.
Most likely, yes.
Like this very INEC chairman that they just appointed now. I think this for what I saw yesterday and what people there who have been calling me to tell me this. If this is what we are going to expect in 2027, my brother, there's a problem. So I don't know what we are going to do now.
Start speaking up.
I have interest in that 2027
Start speaking up.
election.
And the way to prevent it in 2027 is that you must come out and vote. Because if you don't come out and vote, it makes rigging very easy.
See,
the small result people got in 2023 was because people came out. But a lot of people did not even come out enough. Because in 2023, we keep thinking people came out. But when you look at the data, a lot of people did not come out enough. So the way to conquer evil is to confront it.
Like this one, I didn't know. I'm just thinking. So I have been getting thinking since that yesterday. So how are we going to do it? How are we going
I've
to
just
do
told
it?
you. I've just told you. Come out, vote, mobilize. That's the way you can come and stay until your votes are counted and get the results and ensure that it's uploaded on the IRM. And ensure the IRM work and advocate, mobilize. Don't say because you are benefiting from anything. Stay. Ensure that it is counted. Let's hold politicians accountable. That's all I do.
People collected money. There was a lot of money. Money was flying that yesterday. People were collecting money to vote.
How would they not collect money?
They're supposed to vote.
How would they not collect money? Because they've bastardized the electoral process. And that's why we keep speaking against it. So mobilize. That's just it.
Alright.
It is well.
We'll keep talking. Just keep doing what you're doing. I really appreciate it.
It is well. My work here is to help people mobilize. My work here is to speak against weaponization of poverty. My work here is to provide opportunities where necessary. That's why I give you training courses and things like that. But on one of the platforms which we do the training on, one of my Facebook accounts has been hacked for God knows when. But it's not going to deter me. I'm going to keep fighting. And I'm going to keep ensuring that people get opportunities. You see, let me tell you how the ruiners of Africa behave. They ensure that there's poverty in society. What is poverty? Passing over opportunity regularly. Because they know when people are poor, it's easier to manipulate. All of this we are saying people are being given money is because they are jobless. So when the money people make on a daily is given to them just for one vote, they will collect it. But if you can empower society in such a way that a lot of things has to work for them, they will not think of the money. So the first thing the politicians do, they will ensure that there's poverty in the land. How would they ensure that there's poverty? They will steal the resource of the land. Most of the politicians, they will go out there, steal the resource. How do they steal the resource? They steal the resource through your budgets. They will put up a budget where most of the line items, when the contracts come out, they steal the money for the contracts. They don't even do them. Or they do substandard job. Road that is supposed to be inches thick, they will put 1 inch. One road that is supposed to be like 4, 5, 6 inches thick, they will put 1 inch there. So that next year you appropriate money again. They will not do the hospitals, they will steal the money. It is that same your money they steal during the election period, they will come out and give it to you. Go and check. Most Nigerian politicians got rich doing politics in Nigeria. We know some of them that have private jets today that couldn't wear agbada for themselves when they started politics about 20 years ago. We know them. So they got rich with your own money and being in political power. And that's a fact. Even those that are telling you stories today that their father was very rich in the past, who were they before they joined politics? If their father was so very rich, they will not come and do politics. They will have managed their father's company as they claimed. So don't allow people lie and deceive you. There's too much deceit. They made the money while they were in politics. As they claim that their father was rich. If their father was very rich, they should have been managing their father's business, chain of businesses by now. They should not be in politics. But once they got into politics, they made stupendous money. And how did they make the money? From the opportunities that the resource of the land created. So there's a lot of money in few hands. Those few hands will bring that money out during the election, get food to perpetuate themselves in power. So it's a cycle. They use your own resource, your own money, your own commonwealth to keep themselves in power. So they don't even get to spend anything. Probably the only spending they do is the first investment they make, which is the first money. And most of the time, the first investment they make is not even from their pockets. It's opportunities given to them. So the first investment they make most of the time is their political godfather that puts them into the place because they are loyal to them. And when they get into the place, that's how they start. There is no serving politician today that somebody did not bring into the fray. So maybe if they spend the money in their first investments and they get in, it becomes a... And that's why I say, Nigeria is not so bastardized to the extent that politics is one of the most lucrative businesses today. An average top class politician is worth billions. How did he get the money? They can't tell you. A lot of these people, ask them, who were they before politics? Who were they before politics? And that's why I'm going to be playing a message about reshaping Africa with Professor Lumumba after this session. I'll take a couple of calls. 0907-651-1008. And for those that want to reach us up on WhatsApp, 0818-099-1991. Oh, I think we've had some calls already. We missed them. Let's see. Let me call this person back. It's a +90. We're trying to call them back. Hello, sorry, we missed your call, so we called you back. What's your name?
Yeah. Good morning, sir.
Morning. I think you're the one that calls from Turkey, my sister.
Yes, sir.
Great. Go ahead, talk to us.
Sir, what I wanted to say, I said, what were you people expecting? You people should not expect good thing from INEC because you know where it's coming from. It's coming from Kogi State. And you know Kogi Lion now. He will always bring good INEC chairman for us. You know, we are feeling pain because we outside, we wanted to come home, but the way we are seeing Nigeria is so scary. I don't even know where me on my own, if not for this platform, I can't voice out my pains. Sometimes when I look at the Nigeria, I feel so bad. Sometimes I call my mother and question her, why did you even give birth to me in Nigeria? Because Nigeria is so terrible.
No, you don't. Please don't question your mother. Nigeria will be great. It used to be good. It used to be a lot better than this. But it's just that bad leadership has hijacked the country, and we'll keep speaking until it changes. Every nation has their problem. Look at America with their problem and Trump. Every nation has their problem. So it can be a whole lot better, and we keep pushing for that. So I don't want you to lose hope because the greatest thing is to lose hope. So we just have to keep speaking to it.
You can't even do any business in Nigeria. When you plan to do anything, they will just, even if you try to do some certain things, they will scatter. They will use the price rate is not stable. You will see the money tomorrow. You will do this business tomorrow.
It is well, but I mean, there are some good rates. So even if you don't do business, if you put your money in fixed deposit in Nigeria, you can get some good rates now because of the way the economy is. So that's something you might want to do. And it's a form of investment too, So all you just need to do is to get information. Get clarity. If you put your money in fixed investment, fixed deposits in the bank, you might get some good rates if you are not too interested in getting the highest of the highest rates. So it's just having to look deeply and having to introspect. Once you introspect, opportunities will come. We'll look at it. We can't give up. 0907-651 0907-651-1008. Those are the numbers to call us up on. And the other numbers. We'll take some calls more. We'll wrap up the show today. I have an explosive session for you. You can continue to follow that session on VOP 90.3 FM on YouTube. It's a powerful session where you get a chance to listen to insights from Proto Lumumba and Fellow. How are you?
Yes, sir.
Morning. What's the name? Where are you calling from?
Okay, my name is Justin. I'm calling you from Asaba.
Good to have you from Asaba.
Asaba in Delta State.
I know. Go ahead.
Okay, sir. Okay. Please, I want to plead to you to still once again use your platform to still talk about the pattern of judgments that is the federal government is doing to Nnamdi Kanu or giving to Nnamdi Kanu, which is not really serving the Southeast well, because it is increasing the tension of crime, and the genocide the army is causing in the Southeast is too much. Army is doing more harm than what the people they are targeting are doing. Army is destroying a lot of innocent people and burning houses belonging to innocent people in the Southeast, sacking communities, which these guys are being blackmailed for it. They have it out with the army, but army comes to the community and it starts destroying the things, even things belonging to innocent people in the course of combating with these guys. So it's not really helping. The pattern is not working. They are,
Okay.
the innocent people are being victimized and the communities are being sacked.
Thank you. All I can say
Thank
to
you.
that is this: we must stop the killings in this country. See, all of this political brickbat we have, be it religious, be it killing of any sort, must stop for this country to be able to move forward. And today I'd like to call on the perpetrators of all this level of evil. When you start evil, you know the beginning, you do not know the end. This country is a country that is so blessed and graced by God that if we all work together, there will be so much more to eat. You see, this funny, shallow mentality that some people think that they are better and bigger than others, it's not going to make this country work. We need to live in a country where everybody comes together, collectively condemns evil, and speaks truth to power. So the killings must stop in every part of the country, be it the southeast, be it the south, anything. The killings must stop. Morning, how are you? Morning, yeah. Yes. Morning, yeah, Manjan.
How are you, sir?
Bless you.
Yeah, no strength. Thank you very much for this wonderful opportunity, and I really appreciate the grace of God upon your life. May the Lord continue to strengthen you and grant you peace in your days.
Yes.
Yeah. So, very quickly, I want to bring something to the awareness, sir. And using this platform to inform Nigerians, especially we in the northern part, because concerning the tension of the United States coming down to Nigeria to attack, to invade the terrorists. So there is an agitation which I perceive and have seen what is going on, because we live within the area that Islamic religion are more populated than the Christians, because it's coming this way. Because yesterday I heard everything they were discussing, I speak outside of it, is that I think that they see the United States as a very, being a Christian country and all those things. So from the way they have been manipulated, being oriented, because majority of them are primitive and they are healing. So they want to use the opportunity to attack those who are in the Christians, because they don't understand. They see that the coming of the United States to invade the terrorist is like, that is going to raise a religious tension. Please, using this your platform, sir, to inform the security operatives to protect, especially we in the rural area within Abuja, that's Kwagwala access.
Okay.
Please, so for the security.
Thank you so much for that information. You see, we would like to call on the authorities to help protect and save lives. Secondly, like I said before, you see, it's part of the things that happen in Nigeria, where everybody is so quick to turn the matter into religious tension. Like I keep saying, Christians and Muslims must be united. We are not each other's enemy. The real enemy are those killings, Nigerians, be it Christians or Muslims. And those are the people that the government must fight and stop the killings. That's what we keep saying every time. So anybody that's trying to use any form of propaganda of some sort, please, I beg you, stop it. We'd like to call on security forces, do the needful. See, after politicians exploit you with poverty, they will exploit you with religion and tribe. Your Christian or your Muslim brother is not your problem. Your problem is the politicians that exploit all of us while they live in plenty and we live in poverty. And I pray that for those that want to cause destruction and destroy this country, God will raise a standard and He will bring them to justice in Jesus' name. I pray as you go this week, God will bless you. He will keep His face and favor over you. He will give you peace on every side. And He will accelerate the blessings of God that passes the understanding of man in your life. In the mighty name of Jesus. God bless you. It's been a great time in God's presence. We thank you all for joining us as always. Thank you for our Instagram family. Thank you, Facebook family. I appreciate you. Thank you, uh, all our family. Thank you, VOP family.
From the views on the street
We go to bed empty hunger.
to the blaring horns of a hustling city, the loudest voices of the common man got a medium to be heard.
This particular administration, they were coming unprepared.
It's not a bad thing to renovate the president's lawn.
Through top-notch programming, unbiased reportage of news, sports, business, entertainment, and cultural documentaries, Voice of the People 90.3 FM became a symbol for 21st century media. And now,
So you said something yesterday. It's been eating me up all night. You said the world has a plan for Africa. But does Africa have a plan for the world?
Yeah. We must see ourselves as building a house. If we think like that, Wusi, this continent, the continent of Africa, in terms of resources, is the richest continent on earth. But paradoxically and ironically, people are the poorest. But we can change that. If you look at when one talks about the world defining and designing Africa, we still are wedded to boundaries which were designed for us by the European colonial powers.
It's true.
You yourself were saying
So good.
something that was so enlightening when you were speaking and you talked about building walls.
That's right.
And one of the things that I picked out of that is that you must collaborate.
Yes. In whose reality are we living? If we don't have a plan for ourselves, it's pretty clear that we're existing in a reality that was designed for us, not by us. The only thing worse than being enslaved is being enslaved, but under the illusion of freedom. This week, we're joined by Prof. Lumumba. We met for a conversation in Harare, Zimbabwe. For those of you who've never traveled it, I highly recommend that you go and experience the hospitality of the people of Zimbabwe. We'll talk about Africa, we'll talk about Pan-Africanism, we'll talk about history, but most importantly, we're going to talk about what will it take to build a future that all Africans, regardless of where they come from, can find commonality in, prosperity in, and build a life that they can be proud of. This is going to be an exciting episode. Enjoy. Hello, family. Welcome to Ideas That Matter Plus. You know why we call this Ideas That Matter the podcast? Because we genuinely believe in this podcast. Ideas shape the world. And so we love talking to people who understand this, but also who posit for us ideas that matter in the modern day. I couldn't be more excited today to be joined by Prof. All of you here know him, and all of you have listened to some of his work. So he's an incredible voice in the experience of Africans and in the narrative of Blackness in the world today. He understands the history of our people, but I also think more importantly, he understands the aspirations of our humanity and has the ability to capture both of these and communicate them in a manner that very few, if any, in the day can actually do. So please welcome Prof. Hi, Prof.
How are you, Wusi?
I'm good.
You are keeping well?
By God's grace.
God is ever gracious.
You know, yesterday, you and I were on the stage for the second time.
Yes, indeed.
I should tell you,
Yeah.
when I was preparing,
Yes.
and I knew that you'd be on the program,
Yeah.
the last time we were together was in Nigeria
Yes, I remember.
at the platform.
Yes.
And I went before you.
Yes.
And I thought I did well. Then you went, and I was like, oh, man.
You judge yourself too high.
So yesterday I was like, make sure Prof goes first. But I loved what you said yesterday. And as a student of your work, there is a consistency to the themes that you speak about. Now, for those who are seeing you, experiencing you for the first time, they might not altogether cognize the themes that you speak about. One of the things I love about how you approach the subject of the collective emancipation of our people in a holistic sense is that you're able to give it historical context. So last year, I traveled for the first time to the small island nation of Trinidad and Tobago. And I wasn't aware how important Trinidad was in the relationship the diaspora has had in the past with the continent. And then yesterday, you were talking about Trinidad and how a number of the conversations we have about Pan-Africanism start in part in the island of Trinidad. Maybe just for context, tell us a bit about that.
Trinidad and Tobago and the Caribbean generally was the breeding ground of what is described and known as Pan-Africanism. Sylvester Williams of Trinidad and Tobago was the first person to begin broaching the idea that we, as persons with an African association, or those who are taken from the African continent, must work together to liberate themselves at that time from physical slavery. So the very first meetings were held, of course, in London and in Europe. And Sylvester Williams was the arrow's head, as it were. And he inspired many at that time. So that even when individuals such as Marcus Garvey in Jamaica are beginning to talk about the return to the continent, the original spirit is that of Sylvester Williams.
Incredible.
He is a lot more organized, and his work begins to reach the continent, so that while the early meetings are in the 19th century, and during that period you also have people in the continent, people like Kaisaka Seme of South Africa, who is one Pixley Kaisaka, who is described as one of the founders of the African National Congress.
That's right.
In 1906, he is a student at the University of Columbia, and he is making reference to the works of Sylvester Williams. W.E.B. Du Bois, who is in the United States of America, is making reference to the works of Sylvester Williams. And ultimately, it is these works of Sylvester Williams that culminates in the much more known meeting of Pan-Africanists in 1945 in Manchester. And that meeting is the beginning of the connection between the Caribbean Pan-Africanists, the American Pan-Africanists, and the Africans, with Kwame Nkrumah attending that meeting. Obafemi Awolowo attending that meeting. Jomo Kenyatta attending that meeting. There is a debate as to whether Kamuzu Banda was in that.
Why is it a debate?
It's a debate because there are those who want to argue, no, he was not a Pan-African, he did not attend. But I think he was in attendance.
Right.
He was somewhere in the vicinity.
Right.
And that history is very important because, as you rightly say, it contextualizes what Africans are yearning for in the continent, to free ourselves from the clutches of colonialism, in the Caribbean to free the slaves, in the United States of America to gain civil rights. So it is what gives the impetus to the civil rights movement. And you see some of the very dyed-in-the-wool Pan-Africanists like John Hendricks Williams or John Henrik Clark emerging from this tradition. So those little islands, Trinidad and Tobago, then become, as it were, as I said a little earlier, the breeding ground for Pan-Africanism. And later, of course, Sylvester Williams does not get the recognition that he deserves. So that today, when you ask who is the father of Pan-Africanism, people are quick to say W.B. Du Bois.
That's right.
And that, of course, sometimes happens that there are unsung heroes in these, but in the continent, people will tell you, people like Kwame Nkrumah, people like Ahmed Sekou Touré, Julius Kambarage Nyerere, Leopold Sedar Senghor, it all started in the Caribbean.
One of the things I find interesting about your way to narrate the arc of history is, and I'd never considered this until you and I were in conversation and you said it to me, that the struggle looks different, but it's actually the same struggle.
It is.
And the timeline is different, but it's the same fight. And the heroes might be different, but at an ideological level, the fight for the emancipation of the self in its full sense is the same single struggle. But I have this question for you. Systems change, they evolve. It's clear that the system that our forebears were talking about exists today, but under a different guise. And so, for our generation, how do we begin to talk about a collective coming together and a Pan-African experience, a pulling together of our talents, our resources, our capabilities, long before we pull together our economics, if we can just pull together our collective human resources? How do we begin to even think about it?
Vusi, you two have talked about this, that the world order
Yes.
is one that is designed.
Yes.
Those who designed slavery
Yes.
are the very same who designed colonization.
Indeed.
They are the very same who designed the neo-colonial project.
That's right.
So there is a sense in which they are always ahead of the game. There is a sense in which they are like the chameleon. The color may change, but the substance remains. You may think that you are fighting a different thing, but you are fighting a hydra-headed animal. You cut one head and the rest remains.
That's right.
Because you must ask yourself contextually, what has the struggle always been about? It is resources. If you look at slavery, the resources that were required then was human power and human capacity, because Europe and America were going through an agrarian revolution. They had not discovered the tractor.
They had industrialized.
So when they move into industrialization, when they now have the tractor, then it changes. Then you need not only human resource, but you also need natural resource. So if you look at it that way, you are always fighting against the same forces whose needs have changed, but the aspiration has always been one to improve the quality of their lives. Because when all is said and done, when we talk about the first industrial revolution, we talk about the second industrial revolution, the third, and now the fourth and fifth, which are merging with the Internet of Things and artificial intelligence. What is it? The Caucasians want to improve the quality of their lives. The Asians want to improve the quality of their lives. And they are ahead of the game. We, in the African continent, we are always playing catch up. So that when, for example, you see the United States of America at a certain stage says, we have the green card. Are they offering the green card because they love us so much? No, it is because they see a gap in their labor needs and they want to attract that labor. If you see in this 21st century, the Germans are now saying we want labor, and we want labor in the medical field. The Arabs in Saudi and in Qatar and in the Emiratis say we want labor, but in the household field. So we are sending our young men and women to work in the household. So we are fighting at different fronts. The Chinese are teaching you Mandarin in the Confucius Institute, which they have opened in different universities in the continent of Africa, and they are making you believe that Mandarin is the language that will liberate. And we and those in the middle class are attracted to this as moths are attracted to light. But this light is a trap, which begs the question, how do you fight that which you do not know? In my other life, I'm a martial artist. And one of the greatest martial artists who was also a philosopher was Bruce Lee. And he came up with a system of fighting. He calls it the art of fighting without fighting. And he says, when you are fighting and you want to be an effective fighter, you must be like water. Because water does not change, but it can be liquid, it can be solid, and it can be gas. We in the continent must be people who are able to adapt. And even if you allow me a little spiritual inclination, in the New Testament there is Paul. And Paul says, in order to win them to the Lord, for the Jews, I was a Jew. To those who followed the law, I followed the law. To those who did not follow the law, I behaved as if. In other words, what he was doing, the strategy and the goal remained one, but he was able to change tactics. So you can change tactically without undermining the goal. And I think that is what we must be able to do. I've said at a different forum that if your enemy is chameleonic, you too must be chameleonic.
That's right.
Only then will you survive and thrive.
So to be as cunning as the system itself.
Indeed. The tree that does not bend is broken by the wind.
That's so good.
Yes.
There is a wisdom there that is a age wisdom. Because I find, in particular, when we are younger, the militant nature of our disposition is such that we are often invested in how much noise we can make without necessarily thinking about how much progress can we make. And what I'm hearing you say is sometimes the way to the progress is noise, but sometimes the way to the progress is mediation. Sometimes it's collaboration.
Yes.
Sometimes it is appearing to be as if you are the thing you are opposing, so that it accepts you and you change it from the other side. But as long as the goal is clear, you do whatever it takes to get there. That's a wild proposition. That's a wild proposition.
You know, Vusi, what you are saying, and these holy books have a very interesting way of teaching us. Just last weekend, I was listening to a sermon by Martin Luther King. It's called "But If Not," and he founds it in the Bible, in the book of Daniel, the story of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And he said these young boys were in exile. They are in Babylon and they are attending a school which one may describe as the University of Nebuchadnezzar.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
This Nebuchadnezzar is told that these young men are worshiping a god and they don't follow your. So he changes their names. They don't resist. He asked that they eat from the kitchen of the king, animals that are sacrificed, that they refuse. And then he tells them, you must worship this image. But they say, this one, we will not. But the most important thing that comes out there is that we will not worship that thing. And even if you want to throw us in the furnace, the God that we worship will save us. But even if he does not. And Luther King says, and I agree with him, that the most important thing is even if he does not.
That's good.
In other words, these are not fair weather individuals who are only wedded to principle when it is convenient. Even when it is inconvenient, they will remain true to their agenda. And I think it is important, therefore, to always ask yourself whether you are changing yourself or you are changing your tactics.
That's so good.
Tactics you can.
And
circumstances force you to change your tactics, but never your goal and never your principles. And I think that is critical. And there is no shortage of individuals who have changed that in a manner that has allowed them to realize the goal. Because history does not remember those who start well. History remembers those who finish well.
That's good.
How do you finish?
Your native country of Kenya predates the experience of freedom we have in South Africa. And so in the context, I suppose, of the continent, we are the newborns.
Yeah, we are there.
And so the reason I mention this is because one of the ways to try and date our experience is to look at the experience of those who precede us. And I travel Kenya often. We have businesses in Kenya. Kenya is home for me. And the economic situation is such that it is a hard sell to the rest of the continent to say, well, this is the Kenyan economic situation, is the aspirational situation. And by the way, that's not a uniquely Kenyan. You can say the same about Ghana, although perhaps a bit differently now with the new president. You can say the same about Nigeria, frankly. I mentioned this point only to ask the question. So how do we... It's clearly about resources.
Yes.
So how does this generation need to think about the resources of the now and of the future so that it can master those resources, is my first question. And my second question is, what is the resource of the present and the future? Is it still the sweat on people's backs and physical labor? Or is the resource construction changing?
The greatest resource is human resource.
Right.
Throughout the ages.
Right.
And when we talk about Africa, we talk about Kenya and many African countries, we are punching below our weight. If you look at Kenya, for example, give or take, our GDP has not exceeded 120 billion United States dollars. And I say this because there was a time in my lifetime when the country called Vietnam was at war, and that is what we heard about Vietnam in 1975. It was the most bombed country on earth.
Wow.
Within a generation, that Vietnam has managed to utilize human resource founded on concrete culture with a clear agenda on what they want to do, and their GDP, as I speak to you, is in excess of 500 billion United States dollars.
Wow.
Do they have the resources that we have on the ground in many African countries? Do they have the gold that Congo has? Do they have the coltan that Congo has? Do they have the forest that Congo has? Can they have the coffee that Kenya has? Do they have the soda ash that Kenya has? No, they don't. But the little they have leveraged on it. And there is something to learn from them. Look at Singapore, for example. Look at Mauritius. Look at Indonesia now. So when we think about the future, we've got to think how we are going to use our minds to manipulate and ensure that the resources given to us are utilized in a manner that is going to change the quality of our lives. And I listened to the Chinese, and I remember last year they were assembled in Beijing. 6,000 people who came from different parts of China have been meeting in the villages for over a year, and they meet at the Politburo, and they are thinking about China 100 years from thence, which means the people at that assembly will not be alive.
Sure.
But they are thinking about 100 years. And they are not just thinking about their country. They ask, how are we going to relate with Africa? How are we going to relate with Europe? How are we going to relate with the rest of the world? In a typical African country, now that we have elections, which was a bequest from our colonizer, we think in election cycles, 5 years. And as long as that is the way you are thinking, you can never plan anything that is serious. So that the men and women who we give the task of implementing the things that we are utilizing are themselves in a hurry. They want to use the opportunity they have to make their personal lives perfect. Intellect must also have something that is intergenerational and sacrificial. In other words, that your children must benefit from the sweat of your labor, and your children's children must benefit from the sweat of your labor. In other words, we must see ourselves as building a house, you laying the foundation and other generation putting up the blocks.
So good.
And
That's
ultimately
good.
the roof.
That's good.
If we think like that, Vusi, that this continent, the continent of Africa, in terms of resources, is the richest continent on earth, but paradoxically and ironically, our people are the poorest. But we can change that.
So you said something yesterday. It's been eating me up all night. You said the world has a plan for Africa.
Yes.
And then you said, but does Africa have a plan for the world?
Yeah.
I had to tell you, man, that shifted my head there. Because I then started thinking, so in whose reality are we living? If we don't have a plan for ourselves,
yes.
It's pretty clear that we're existing in a reality that was designed for us, not by us. Yes. And the only thing worse than, and I say this with trepidation, but the only thing worse than being enslaved is being enslaved, but under the illusion of freedom. Because then you don't even know that there's something that needs to be changed. So the question I want to ask you is, so how does Africa have a plan for Africa? What do we need to do here? We have the institutions.
Yes.
We have the union. We have the nation states. We have the trading blocs. We have the free trade. What's missing? What's the piece of the puzzle that has to come together? That in your mind, if it connected, the system would change.
Perhaps we need to re-examine and deconstruct some of these systems.
Sure.
Because if you look at when one talks about the world defining and designing Africa, we still are wedded to boundaries which were designed for us by the European colonial powers.
It's true.
And we are wedded to those borders that we can kill and maim. And we have killed and maimed for it. In 1963, when countries have started regaining independence, perhaps a little earlier, 1950s, the leaders were conscious that these boundaries can remain as administrative, but we need to interact a lot more.
Sure.
So I think we must rethink governance.
Sure.
Once we rethink governance, then we'll discover that there is no one size fits all, sure. Even in one territory.
Sure.
So that if you are talking about South Africa, for example, there are things that will be done in Zululand that will not be done in the Pedi land or Venda land, but they all add up in the same thing. We are not bold enough to do so, to rethink governance. And if we begin to rethink governance, we are going to ask ourselves, SADC, how is SADC useful for the 18 or so member countries? How is the East African community useful for the 8 or so member countries? How is ECOWAS useful for the 15 or so member countries? How is the Sahel useful for the 4 or so member countries? How is the Maghreb? Then we go into something that will be beneficial to us. Because if you go to an architect, you tell them that you want a 4-bedroom house, is because in your scheme of things, you think that you need all the rooms.
That's good.
And therefore that you've got to be conscious of the environment in which you are dealing all these.
That's good.
And because we are talking about the future, you are talking about sustainability, the material that you use. You are going to use material that is aligned to the environment. Africa must rethink governance. And 2 people have written about these in books that I think are very useful. One of them is Adeke Adebajo of Nigeria, who has written about Africa after the curse of Berlin, Africa after the Second World War. And the other one is Nana Kobina Nkesia V, who has written Governance, Culture and Governance, the Ghanaian Paradigm. And in that book, John Henry Clark makes a statement which he quotes, say, that when African countries started regaining independence, all of them inherited systems that were bequeathed by the colonizer. And he says, none of them will ever succeed on the basis of those systems.
Wow.
And we must look at Africa to see that we are collapsing because there are systems that we don't understand, sometimes don't even appreciate. So it is, but we must not judge ourselves too harshly.
Sure.
What I think is that we must have the courage to have conversations. Have the courage in Botswana to ask ourselves, does this serve us well? Is there something in the Botswana culture that can inform how we run government in the contemporary world? In Nigeria, we ask ourselves, we have so many ethnicities, so many systems. You have the Igbo, you have the Yoruba, you have the Kalabari, you have the Ogonian. Is there a system that we can use so that Africa is built from the village and we are conscious of the bigger picture? We have the macro and the micro. Until the day we have that conversation, we are going nowhere. And I conclude answering that. The little Switzerland that all of us know as the haven of peace. If you read our history, there was a time when they were fighting, ethnic fights.
Wow, I didn't know
the
that.
German speakers, the French speakers, the Italian speakers, and the other group that is never heard about much were all fighting until somebody came and said, we can change this. Let us create the Swiss Confederation. Let us do things village, and then we meet at the higher level of foreign affairs and national coordination. And throughout that time, even during the wars, it has become the haven in Europe. That is the question that we must ask.
I see.
Yes.
So they designed it.
It is designed.
Specific to their context.
Fit for purpose.
That is so good.
Suppose it were to happen, Brucey, in the Democratic Republic of Congo.
Right.
That they were to design, say, yes, from Kinshasa, we're not going to achieve it if we are centralized.
Right.
But let us confederate. In Kasai, in northern Kivu, in the Bakongo area, in the Baluba area, and we confederate. Believe me, within 10 years, the Congo DRC as we know it will have a GDP of no less than 1 trillion, with the quality of people's lives changing dramatically.
So good.
It can be done.
That's so good.
But are we bold enough? Are we bold enough to actually deal with it? I was asking a friend of mine who is a teacher of political science at the University of Nairobi, and what do you teach in political science at the University of Nairobi? Are you still teaching the theories of Marx on how the state is to be built, or you are now contemporary teaching about African things and about Kenyan things?
That's good.
We should ask those nagging questions, even uncomfortable ones, necessary.
That's so good. You've just, I fly into Zurich often, and you've just answered for me why it is that they have dual announcements of their, I wasn't aware of their history.
When you're going to Zurich, I think that that is German territory.
That's right, yes. And then sometimes you'll have a pilot who will announce in German, then in French, and then, but I wasn't, and the reason I find this is for me why I find
the
interesting.
The other group are the Romanche.
The Romanche, that's right. This is what I find interesting, right? Is so the Europeans understood that it is through a union that they can have collective prosperity. But they didn't just understand it, they capacitated it.
Yes.
And when necessary, there is a war going on right now where they have built military infrastructure to make that a reality. And so what I'm hearing you say is it requires the courage to rethink and reimagine the system, but it also requires the courage to then resource whatever you rethink and you reimagine.
Absolutely. Look at, even we in Africa have actually imagined. The only problem in Africa is that once we have imagined and we have started doing these things, we don't resource them. Look at the Lagos Plan of Action of 1980.
Right.
We said intra-African trade is at 25%.
Right.
We ought to increase it.
Right.
But how do you increase and enhance? First of all, make people move freely. Remove visas. Remove tariff and non-tariff barriers so that if I have a product in Liberia, I move it to Addis Ababa. If I have a product in South Africa, I can move it to Cairo, which means you need infrastructure.
100%.
You are resourcing the road so that you can track things. Look at 1988, we discover intra-African air traveling is too expensive. So leaders meet in Yamoussoukro, in La Côte d'Ivoire, and said, Africa is going to be a single sky so that you make it easy. But did we implement it? I think in the month of May, a few countries in West Africa have now said they are now single sky. I think in Nigeria, Gambia, and
Gabon, I think.
Gabon, and others. But We could have done this a little earlier. You travel.
Yes.
You can travel from Bratislava in Slovakia to Portugal. Nobody asks you
I take a
for
train.
a visa.
I take a train. I don't even need a passport.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But here, I fly for 1 hour.
You must produce a visa.
Visa and complete with a yellow fever certificate.
Yeah.
So until the day, and you've used the word which in my view is the game-changing word, resource them. If you don't resource those things, if you have pipes and there is no water running through it, the pipes are useless.
True story.
And that is what Africa must realize.
True story.
You've got to put in the money. I mean, recently we saw when the Americans said they are withdrawing their funds through USA.
Indeed.
And we are crying. We did not know that somebody else was paying for our health system, somebody was paying for our agriculture. So we've got to learn to resource our things. Look at little Dubai. What do they have to offer? They know what they want. They have defined what they want. They have welcomed the world. And we have made it a place of economic pilgrimage from the African continent.
So true.
So why can't Equatorial Guinea be the country that offers that?
So good.
Why can't Angola do that? Why can't the Gambia do that? Why can't Eritrea do that? We can do it. But as you rightly say, the mind is the standard. And not just the mind, the ability to then use the product of the mind to produce the thing that resources your agenda. And that agenda must be people-centered. Because ultimately, all these things, why do we do them? To make our lives comfortable, that we may realize our potential and have the fullest enjoyment of our circumstances.
Hey, family. I just wanted to say thank you to the 1.7 million of you who are returning viewers on our channel. When the team shared that with me, I swear, I almost fell off my chair. I was like, 1.7 million people who return to watch the content on the channel. That's just unbelievable. I'm so humbled that you find the content we share valuable. And I promise we're going to do the best we can to keep bringing you content of value. I do have an ask though. 66.4% of you that watch the channel have yet to subscribe. You know what would really help me? I've got a running bet with the team, and we want to see if we can get that to below 60%. I need a favor. I need you to scroll down the video. You're going to see that bell icon, and I need you to press it, because then you're going to subscribe, and you're going to help me meet my metric. We have some exciting guests we've got planned for you, some incredible guests we've already shot. You would have met Kasim for our first Ideas That Matter Plus video format of the content podcast, and it's already gone viral. We literally hit 30,000 views within the first day of posting it. No advertising, no marketing, we just put up a link. And I said to the team, I think we're onto something here. One of the things I'm very passionate about is making sure we leave the world better than we found it, and that we leave our community better than we found them. So, hit the subscribe button, and I look forward to sharing more content with you, more insights, more motivation, and just generally helping the world become a better place using this medium. All right, family, we'll talk soon. Cheers. I was sharing with you before we started recording that as I have gotten older and a little bit more aware, sometimes they say ignorance is bliss for a reason. Sometimes being aware is such a curse, because you begin to see things that you did not see. You begin to experience things that you did not experience. When you and I vividly remember when we were in Nigeria together, I think we were invited by our brother, Pastor Poju. I said to him backstage, I said, you call this the platform Nigeria. He said, yeah. I said, this needs to be the platform Africa. Right. And I see he's made that evolution now. And he had our sister Flora from Melvin's Tea in Nairobi.
Yes.
He had her on the program this year. So when I see the minds coming together, it looks like the Renaissance is taking place. For me, my pain, to your point, is, you fly into Europe, Schengen visa, you land in one place, you catch a train, and you move from Amsterdam to Paris. And then Brussels, then back. And nobody's bothering you about how you're migrating. This is This is the question I have always wanted to ask you. I call this podcast Ideas That Matter because as I introduced it, I genuinely believe ideas change the world. And as Africans, our experience of the world has been such a hard, physical, labored experience that sometimes we undervalue the power of ideas. That the economic system as it is designed was once an idea. Currency was an idea. The city you live in was an idea. The nation that you call home was an idea. At a point, somebody started with it as an idea and made it real. Here's the question. What is the idea that drives Prof. Lumumba? What's the single thing that at the end of your days you go, if I can get them to understand this, my job would be done?
The idea that drives me is that we are here to make a contribution to change our lives and by extension the lives of the communities in which we serve. And we serve in different communities. One of the earliest communities in which you serve is your family.
Indeed.
How do you impact your family? Is your family the richer because you are born in it? And once you've come out of your family, is your neighborhood the richer because you are part of it? Then you get out, is your country the richer because you are part of it? And are your people as Africans better because you are an African? And ultimately, is humanity better because you are part of humanity?
It's so good.
You cannot solve the problems of the world, but you can make a contribution.
It's good.
And the contribution as an African is that I would love to see an Africa where we, by dint of the strength of our ideas and minds, we have improved the quality of the largest mass of African people. And when we sit at the dinner table, we are neither the meat to be eaten, nor the ones who are eating the crumbs under the table, nor are we the waiters who serve those who are at the dinner table.
It's good.
If that were to happen, and I was to make a contribution in that regard, then I would be a happy person. And I'm also acutely aware that these things cannot be achieved in one's lifetime, many times.
Man.
So it is intergenerational.
I was hoping you wouldn't say that.
Because, and that is why one of the greatest things that I think I am participating in is to empower an army of young men and women across the continent.
Sure.
And when I see them being better than me, I attended an inaugural lecture of one of my former students who is now one of the leading tax experts in the world.
Wow.
And when I stood to ask her a question at Tia Waris, I said, there is no greater recompense for a teacher than to produce a student who surpasses him or her.
Wow.
That
wow.
we should strive.
Wow.
So don't fear that others will be better than you. If they are not better than you, then that is not good.
Because in the same way parents want their children to be better than them, that is so good. Societies should want generations to be better.
Absolutely.
That's so good.
And you yourself were saying something that was so enlightened when you were speaking and you talked about building walls.
That's right.
And one of the things that I picked out of that is that you must collaborate.
Yes.
Don't engage in negative competition.
Yes.
Because when you collaborate, I don't know who said it, but he said that it takes, I think it is James Emmons Kwejir Agri of Africa, that great Ghanaian who said, look at when they play the piano. When you strike the white button only, there is no melody. When you strike the black one, and you strike them in a coherent and coordinated manner, see how melodious it is.
It's good.
That is called collaboration.
It's good. It's good. Thank you, Prof, for your time.
Thank you.
So, what style of martial arts are you?
I started as a Shotokan karateka.
Shotokan.
Yes. Then I went into Taekwondo. Now,
really?
I'm a mixed martial artist. And believe me or not, I and my teacher are now creating a new art called Niabuntu.
Love it. Love it. Love it. So it'll be your version of Jeet Kune Do.
Yeah, it will be a version.
When I saw that you were launching your own style of martial arts, I saw some of the comments that people were making.
Yes.
And it was pretty clear that these are not people who understand that martial arts is an evolving thing.
Absolutely.
Right. So if you say, Shotokan, Tenshinkan, I did Kyokushin myself,
yes.
you can date the time.
Yes.
But over time, they have evolved. Because combat is constantly changing.
Absolutely.
That's good. That's good. That's good. And have you done any groundwork?
We are actually, what we are doing now, we are just about to publish the book on philosophy.
Wow.
Some of the moves.
Wow.
The things that we are going to use. Remember that people think that martial art is about
fighting. It's not. Yes, that's right.
It's about reflection. It's about deep philosophy. And
it's conquering the self.
Conquering yourself.
Yes.
If you understand it in that way, then you'll not be thinking that it's about breaking people's noses.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. In fact, it's the restraint not to.
Absolutely.
So I'll make you a promise.
Yes.
As soon as you've published,
yes,
I'd love to be your first student and come and experience a little bit. Awesome. That was our episode with Prof. Hit the subscribe button. Please make sure to follow Prof. He's got a great channel on YouTube. I follow it, and he constantly publishes his own thoughts. You're going to love it. He sits in a studio and he just speaks straight to camera, and I can't recommend it enough. I think if we just take anything from this conversation, it is simply this. You are the right person at the right time for the right season. Cheers.
Thank you very much. God bless.
Thanks, Prof.
Thank you.
Oh, that was fun.
Thank you.